Ladies and gentlemen, it is officially over for the Phoenix Suns as they have been eliminated from play in contention and the disaster class of this season. The emotions that have risen high and low can finally end at this moment, regardless of how you feel with this team, as all implications for this squad are now going to be erased following this loss to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we're going to get into that and also go over the future of this Suns team and really getting into the cracks of what we could really see coming through fruition. We'll be diving into all of that and more on this episode of Suns Digest. I am Bruce Velez, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic. I do want to let you guys know that I will be going live tomorrow on our weekly scheduled live day, Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, and Phoenix time for all you guys that want to chat about this Phoenix Suns team, in which we will go in more depth about this Phoenix Suns squad and really diving in individually on players and with coaches and front office and diving into all of that, what this team is really going to get into. But further ado, let's dive into it and let's get into the video at hand today. Make sure to grab that snack. And like I said in the introduction, it's over. It's official. The Phoenix Suns have lost and they are eliminated from the NBA play-in, and it all came at the hands of the Oklahoma City Thunder, a team that was resting some of their players and ultimately would have been the team the Suns would have placed in the first round if they had somehow made it through the gauntlet of the play-in and into that kind of realm there. But as we see, the Phoenix Suns fell short 125 to 112 after a great start to the game with a team with Oklahoma City with no Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Nulu Dort. They started out slow, but then had a terrible second quarter there where the Thunder started to open it up, and then the Thunder really started bludgeoning to the Suns in the third and fourth in the second half, where they had a 43-point third quarter where the Suns had that kryptonite, and it became a fourth quarter 20-point lead for the Thunder at one point. The Suns also were losers of 8 straight games. They have not won since they got on that 4-game win streak. Their last win coming against the Milwaukee Bucks just a couple days ago. And this is very catastrophic for this team. Like we have mentioned, they have not met the expectations that fans like myself and you had for this team. And that's not great. As we all know, this team is in the second apron and has some very big question marks to deal with going into free agency, with looking at their offseason and their roster. We have $18 million already committed into salary, and the first apron is the second apron is 207, so they're $11 million over the second apron, but they're right around 20-ish million dollars over the second apron tier, or first apron tier, excuse me, of 23 million. So they can get under there by cutting guys like Vasily Micic and Cody Martin if they do not want to bring those guys back on team options and non-guaranteed deals. But as you guys can see, the Suns then wouldn't really have that much flexibility with the guys they have under roster, as they only have 4 or 5 guys. And that's what's going to lead to a lot of questions and a lot of discussions about this team, not only roster-wise, front office-wise, and coaching-wise as well. And it's realistically over for this big three in Phoenix. As you know, it's been the writing's been on the wall for this big three over these last couple years, or not the last couple years, as they've only been together for 2 years. But obviously, this season, the writing on the wall has been really evident with this team, as they tried to trade Bradley Beal at the deadline. They benched him. They benched Yusuf Nurkic. They were trying to move off of those guys, but they could not do it with the no trade clause, and ultimately led to Phoenix missing the playoffs and having to deal with some injuries. Durant also missed this contest versus the Oklahoma City Thunder, and he did not qualify to make All-NBA, which is also another thing that is not great for the Phoenix Suns, but we're wishing Kevin Durant a healthy and speedy recovery. But speaking of that, kind of getting into the next part of the video, let us know your thoughts down below on what you think about the Suns missing the playoffs, because it's absolutely atrocious. It should not be happening, as with this roster, they should be competing in the Western Conference. But what is next for this Phoenix Suns team? As we've seen them have a complete disarray and mismanagement of, front office, coaching staff, of how to handle this roster and some of these players being able to play alongside with each other and having that cohesiveness. So, what are we really going to expect for next season? What should be the plan? Well, first, there's obviously the big question mark surrounding around Kevin Durant. He is obviously on a 1 year contract and is getting a little bit older. And for the Suns, a team that's still wanting to compete and contend, as Matt Ishbia does not believe in retooling and rebuilding, I do believe that he will try to keep Kevin Durant on this roster alongside Devin Booker. But if there's a way where he cannot do that and he needs to get some sort of assets or wants to get another star player, maybe a little bit younger, to pair alongside the 28-year-old Devin Booker, then I could see him trading a player in Kevin Durant to do so to reap some assets. And with Durant obviously almost being pushed out of Phoenix, it does look like Durant will be out the door at the end of this season, and he will have that leverage play on where he wants to go due to the fact that he waited into the offseason and did not get traded at the deadline, which I think is fair for Durant, as you know, the rest he would have been traded realistically at the trade deadline to a team that he didn't want to go to, even though he doesn't have a no trade clause. You can be like that. He didn't want to leave Phoenix, so you got to respect those rules with, I think, being a nice guy. Next player is obviously Bradley Beal, someone that is a little bit constructed to this Phoenix Suns team. And there were some updates from John Gambadaro about Bradley Beal and potential his future with the Suns in coming these next future seasons, as he has that no trade clause. A lot of people are going to want to be trading for that deal, so the Suns potentially buy him out if they can't get a trade done. That's something that we're going to be exploring in a different video, so make sure to stay tuned for Suns Digest to make sure you get all the updates on this Suns team. But Bradley Beal is someone that obviously is not worth the $50 million due to his injuries, due to the fact that he isn't a top tier player like Devin Booker and Kevin Durant making that type of money. Obviously isn't worthy of that no trade clause either, and I do think he's still a talented and skilled player in the NBA. He's just, in my opinion, doesn't deserve to be having those luxuries attached to his name when he isn't producing at the value of a player like that. I do think he could help a team out on a cheaper contract around $20 to $25 million if he were to get bought out by the Phoenix Suns, but that might be a second resort if the Phoenix Suns can look to trade him. But the Suns could look to move Durant and Bradley Beal to just help out to free up some salary for Devin Booker. As like we mentioned, they are really, really strapped up in the salary cap, and freeing up two $50 million contracts might be able to get some guys in on this team around Devin Booker to really flesh out the holes that it's missing to pair along guys with their rookies and Brian Dunn and Oso Ighodaro as well. But another name to mention is Devin Booker. They are said that they want to keep him and stick with him going into the future after this season. The franchise leading scorer should be a mainstay with this team, but as we all know with the Phoenix Suns, anything could happen with this roster and anything could happen with this team. And if the Suns feel like they can't get enough value from extracting Bradley Beal and or Kevin Durant, they may look to move off Devin Booker as well, or Devin Booker may be unhappy with them moving both of those players and also request out because he doesn't want to be the only one here. But not only is the players also on concern with this team, but it's the front office and the coaching staff as well, as we've seen the Suns have the coaching carousel go through the last 3 seasons with Monty Williams, Frank Vogel, and Coach Budenholzer. And with Coach Budenholzer obviously getting not a good rap from the fans on the outside on his coaching abilities with his rotations and how he's been able to run this team this season, as fans think that he's had arguably a better roster and has mismanaged it worse than Frank Vogel and Monty Williams in the past. The players have spoken up to say that even though that Monty Williams hasn't gotten a lot of wins, then not getting a lot of wins doesn't mean that you're a bad coach, and then obviously he showed them some good things. So they are sticking up for their coach, and maybe Coach Bud could stick out this longer than this season if the Suns do want to keep one thing consistent and not have a rotational carousel keeping going through with their coaches. But I could see Mike Budenholzer also being tanked out of this because we've seen head coaches like Mike Malone and Frank and Taylor Jenkins get fired, and they've done a lot better for their respective teams than Mike Budenholzer has done for the Phoenix Suns. So you could see another coach coming in for the Suns. I would not be shocked. And for this front office, there's been a lot of questions on these trades. What moves have been smart for the Phoenix Suns with this Bradley Beal trade, with this Kevin Durant trade, with the Jusuf Nurkic, Grayson Allen trade, with the Nick Richards trade, with the Cody Martin and Vasily Micic trade. You can date all of those trades going back to where Matt Ishbia has come into office here with obviously Josh Bartelstein and with obvious James Jones, and you can question their moves and what they've been able to do with this team. Should they be let go from the front office as well? There's going to be a lot of question marks and a lot of decisions to be made, not only with just the roster, but with every intangible within this Suns team. Because for back-to-back seasons, this team has had a very expensive roster and has tried to get back to their potential of being in the finals. Just a couple seasons ago, they were in that finals and were so close of winning an NBA championship. And ever since that, they have tried to make moves to help them increase their odds to get back there or at least win the championship. And every move they've made since that has either kept them stagnant or moved them further and further back into the hole that they are in now. And the Suns have to figure out a way to get out of that hole because clearly guys like Devin Booker can compete and can win with this Phoenix Suns team and can show that this season. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Obviously, it was not the season that Suns fans expected. I personally thought they were going to be a fifth seed. It's very, very disappointing that the Suns lost and went out this way, but ultimately, I do feel bad for the players. I do feel bad for this kind of display that we've seen of basketball this season, and I'm kind of glad that it is over. Obviously, there's still 2 games left. They got the Sacramento game. They got the San Antonio game. In those games, I'm going to be looking for, Colin Gillespie to really stand out, Ryan Dunn to really play good, Osa Ighodaro, those young guys to really, really pan out, and I'm praying that they sign Colin Gillespie to a contract before the end of the season, regardless of the fact that they missed the playoffs, because I do think that he could be a nice piece for this Suns team in the future. But let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section. Like I said, a disappointing season for the Phoenix Suns, missing the plan as the quest for making that chase is officially over, but the new quest of this offseason and what it brings and entails is going to be very interesting and very intriguing, which I think will spark a lot of interest and a lot of fun on this channel. So if you guys want to make sure you stay up to date on everything and get all the little news on the Suns team, make sure to hit the subscribe button and stay up to date, and let us know your thoughts down below in the comments, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your day, and go Phoenix Suns. Peace out, everyone.